We're making this film largely because we want to say, hey, white people, guess what? Sit with this discomfort of holding this privilege and this power, because you do.
Want you to record this event?
I'd like to. Can I?
We can't allow recording.
I disagree with that. It's well within the Oregon law. This is a public meeting. There's microphones all over the place. There's people recording in the back. There's a camera recording in the back.
That's district recording.
Why is that different?
Yeah, I'm just explaining to you what our council said, and I'm passing it along that we're not allowed to.
You can pass it along as much as possible, but I disagree with that, and I'm not going to abide by that, sir. It's against the First Amendment. It's against Oregon law. And you know, this is a public event. The public is invited here. Doesn't that bother you at all, sir?
I go by what the wishes of the people
who are those people, sir?
The folks who, in fact, were asked to present this.
Tracy and I are co-producing the film Whitelandia. So Whitelandia is Oregon's story of state-sanctioned discrimination against Black Americans. Their tactics are apparent with almost all of the moves or plans that end up targeting the Northeast. One specifically recently would be the Trader Joe's on the corner of Martin Luther King and Alberta.
Really, the education system was not truly designed for Black Americans. It was to hold us in a place where we should not gain very much. Many of the teachers who are teaching Black children don't feel they have to teach them the way they should be taught, or care about what they're willing to learn. And we've been conditioned down through the years not to look at educating all our children to be productive citizens in the future.
The Eurocentric paradigm says the objective. The objective doesn't work. Being very objective about things doesn't work with some population. So we need to develop relationships. And for some people that's hard. We have to have people who are culturally competent. In Oregon that's very hard. As a Black person who left Oregon and went to other places, I discovered how totally illiterate I was about myself and about others.
Those books is very important. I remember being 8 years old, having a serious debate with my 3rd grade teacher, Mr. Nixon, about the color Black being a color.
I don't know how many of you saw the State of the Union the other day, or the aftermath of the State of the Union. And you saw that there are a lot of people who saw some good things happen, but at the same time they couldn't believe it came from this president. Or they couldn't understand why the white Republican Party was willing to do what it was doing to demonize the president to the whole society that we exist. Now, oftentimes we talk about the great white fathers. We don't talk about the country's white mothers. And the best thing that we necessarily need to do is understand why we don't do that.
You mentioned that Black people in this country, we have been a commodity in this country, and we have been in the way in this country. But how is this film? Have you given any thought to how the film will benefit Black people?
If this film just causes you to ask a question, why don't I see a Black man operating a crane? One in the state of Oregon. One! And you've trained all these people.
We're making this film largely because we want to say, hey, white people, guess what? Sit with this discomfort of holding this privilege and this power, because you do. And it's a lot more than just privilege. You know, we say white privilege, but that's kind of a nice way of talking about what we have here. Even that word is a pretty word, privilege. It's a lot more than that. And I know that the Black folks who I am in community with get pretty tired of having to enact the labor of explaining stuff to white folks over and over again. Talk about it. Talk about it with your white friends, and find ways with your white friends to try to dismantle racism. And that's why we wanted to make this film as white people.
As I'm doing
Do you
right
get
now.
credit for?
I do.
for
I
going?
get 2 hours of PDU.
PDU,
Yeah.
and that's part of being certified as a
Yes.
teacher.